Bitcoin has just survived one of the biggest, if not the biggest, assaults on it ever. We'll break that down in this video for you. Also, it looks like Australia might be getting ready to approve a Bitcoin ETF. Massive news out of Germany. And of course, we'll take a quick look at the technicals too to see what the heck is going on with Bitcoin right now. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing. So if that's a topic that you would like to learn some more about, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Gently tap on the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm, and of course click on the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into the charts. So let's go ahead and dive in here. As you can see, the bears are still firmly in charge of the market right now. There's no denying that. Bitcoin is still trading under every major moving average right now. We're under the 50-day, we're under the 200-day, we're under the 200-day exponential moving average. Until we start reclaiming some of these lines, the bears are in the driver's seat, like it or not. That being said, we do have a lot of people calling for dramatically lower lows and, of course, the start of a 3 to 4 year crushing bear market that will destroy your very soul. I'm not really on board with all that jazz, as you guys probably know. I think that we could actually still be in this Wyckoff accumulation zone. Now, right now, as you can see, right next to my head here, we are getting into a time where it's either going to be a make or break moment for this schematic to play out or not. So did we just have our spring? Did we just have the retest of that? And did we now have, we've seen it come back down for this moment here where we're getting ready for the prices to blast off higher? Well, maybe spring test, second test, possibly happening right here, right now. I hope that we see that happen. I think we're going to find out very, very soon if we are indeed in phase C of the Wyckoff, or maybe we're not at all. Maybe we're not at all. But I think that's we're at a critical moment right now for this pattern to be playing out. I know a lot of us have been keeping a close eye on this, so we're going to see, I think, over the next few days if that does indeed play out in our favor, or if the whales were just faking us out and we're gonna go down. So keep an eye on that. Interesting also that Bitcoin just had one of its worst quarters ever, which is obviously super amazing, right? Well, I think for a long-term price investors, obviously it is a great thing. Now, what we are seeing here, you can see minus 40% Q2 2021. Ouch. That puts us right on par with some of the worst quarters ever for Bitcoin. Quarter 1 2018, we saw Bitcoin drop by 50%. That was just, of course, after the parabolic rise in Q4 2017, where Bitcoin topped out at $20,000. Came back down to around $10,000 by the end of the quarter 1 in 2018. Q2 2018 also not hot. Q3 2018 was basically nothing happening before the market completely rolled over at the end of 2018 between the Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, hash war, Johnson measuring competition thing that happened there. Another 43% down. Pretty gosh darn brutal way to end 2018. 2019, we had our bear market bull rally, but we never really broke out of the overall bearish trend. 2019 ended pretty roughly. And then, of course, all of 2020, except Q1, was pretty gosh darn exciting. We actually had a really great end of the year and a pretty good start of the year this year. And then Q2 happened, and the prices went down, 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 down. Now, amongst that minus 40% close, it also kind of, you miss a big detail here, is that we actually hit the new all-time high during this period too. We actually got up to $65,000. So finishing minus 40% down, we are at a higher price now than all of this time back here. In fact, right now, there's only around, I think, 138 days in Bitcoin's history where if you bought Bitcoin, you would not be in profit. Meanwhile, there's around 3,800 and I guess 33 or 34 days where had you bought Bitcoin, you would currently be in profit, which I know is nothing great to hear for the people who bought during those 138 days or whatever and, bought the top of $50,000, $60,000. That doesn't help to hear, but I think I want to give you that perspective that this metric constantly changes and that a lot of people bought at $20,000 or $15,000 back in the day and they went through long, brutal bear markets or they went through big, scary corrections, and that all those people who had bought before January 2021 are now in profit. And that if you look forward a few years, all the people who bought in March and in April, in a few years' time, or potentially even in a few months' time, if we're optimistic and are looking for that Wyckoff pattern to play out, then those people are going to be in profit too. And certainly, if we take that longer term view, where are we going to be in 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years for Bitcoin, we will again be in this situation where you, as the person who bought at $50,000 or $60,000, you're going to be dramatically in profit, assuming, of course, that you're able to ride these waves and you held the entire time. And, we'll be dealing with a different situation where people bought the top at $900,000 and now Bitcoin's corrected down to $450,000, and it'd be a very different time. Time and perspective can really give you a different way of looking at things in this market. By the way, if you want to buy yourself some Bitcoin, maybe some Ethereum, maybe some Polygon, maybe some Polkadot, some Cardano, some Dogecoin, there's so many great options out there for you to get your hands on, but you need to have yourself an account over on Binance in order to be able to do that. Use the link down below in the description, and you're going to get 10% off of your trading fees on Binance and up to $700 in trading bonuses when trading futures over on Binance. Now let's get into the news. Australia's securities regulator has come out and said that Bitcoin is likely to satisfy the requirements for an ETF. Great news out of Australia. To be clear, they did not say that they are approving a Bitcoin ETF. There are applications in right now with the Australian securities regulators for a Bitcoin ETF, but we've not got any approvals. But them saying that Bitcoin likely satisfies the requirements for an ETF, that's very, very positive because it means that Australian regulators are open to seeing a Bitcoin ETF trading on Australian exchanges. I'm very excited about this. I think that Australia probably going to be the next country to bring in a Bitcoin ETF. Obviously, we already have one in Canada. Obviously, we already have one in Brazil. 13 applications in at the USA's SEC, and yet they have not approved any of those 13 yet. But I think Australian regulators are starting to signal, hey, maybe we're going to approve that Bitcoin ETF soon. Fun fact for you, Australia actually approved a gold ETF before the United States approved a gold ETF back in the early 2000s. But you also have to keep it real. The Australian Stock Exchange, not the biggest stock exchange in the world, great stock exchange, not the biggest stock exchange in the world. So an approval for a Bitcoin ETF on Australia, it's a positive thing. It will be a positive thing in terms of adding more fuel to the fire for getting one approved in the USA, but it's not likely to bring in that tsunami of liquidity in the same way that a US Bitcoin ETF is going to. Because the Australian Stock Exchange, the Australian stock markets, they're only like 1% of all global markets. Whereas the USA, it's more than half. It's around 54% of all global equity markets are the USA. That's why a Bitcoin ETF approved in the USA is such a damn big deal. It'll bring in incredible amounts of liquidity for all those people who want to add a Bitcoin ETF into their retirement accounts, or they just want to buy Bitcoin via their preferred broker, right? They don't want to deal with private keys or Coinbase or any of that stuff. I'm excited about this. I hope the Australians now take the next step and approve a freaking Bitcoin ETF in Australia. That would be great, great news. Now let's talk about the big news out of Germany. So remember last week, and of course a few months ago, we talked about this new German law that will allow a crazy amount of money to come into the cryptocurrency markets. Well, this German law has taken effect, or it's taking effect today, I should say. And that law is going to allow up to $415 billion to flow into the crypto. So this is a law that is allowing German funds to invest up to 20% of the value of their fund into cryptocurrencies. That's a lot of money. $415 billion? That is a lot of money. I mean, let's just take some perspective here real quick and understand how much money are we talking about? Well, $415 billion, that is almost twice the market cap of Ethereum. That is around 2/3 of the market cap of Bitcoin. That is like 5 market caps of Cardano. That's, I guess, around 7 market caps worth of Dogecoin. Dogecoin, man. So it's a lot of money. We're talking about a lot of money potentially coming into the markets here. So this is really cool. Obviously, just because they're allowed to invest that money doesn't mean they're going to invest that money. So let's not count our chickens before they hatch here. But I think that, of course, that we will see some of these institutions coming into the crypto markets now that this law opens up the door for them to be able to do that. We have seen, of course, very high institutional interest around the world from different funds. So I'm sure these German funds will not be any different in that regard, and that we will see them coming in, buying some Bitcoin, buying some Ethereum. We already do have Bitcoin and Ethereum products listed on German stock exchanges. So that will, again, make it easy for these guys to get involved. And finally, for today, the biggest assault on Bitcoin ever. This is from Travis Kling. Now, he said June 2021 brought the most aggressive sovereign assault on Bitcoin ever. Sovereign assault meaning an assault by a nation state. He said it's not hyperbole. This is a fact. Check out this timeline, 25 discrete events in 30 days. And he says, I'm sure I missed a couple. A massive concerted effort from China. Yet here we are making blocks and trading at 33K. And he's absolutely right. It's a super, super interesting point, which is what I wanted to discuss with you. Just look at what happened in June. So state-sponsored Xinhua News states, if Bitcoin is only used as a virtual commodity, Chinese have their own rights to participate if people want huge returns. The government needs to crack down. There you go. June 1st, the government needs to crack down. Crypto influencers on Weibo are suspended and deplatformed. That's Chinese Twitter. We have the Qinghai province starts provincial level Bitcoin mining crackdown. Alibaba Cloud informs crypto and mining companies registered in China that they are ceasing domain name hosting and operations. Small crypto exchange Biki ceases to provide services to mainland China users. Huobi ceases providing large-scale fiat currency transactions for major customers in mainland China. China's OTC king pleads guilty to money laundering for $500 million. Popular Chinese wallet phases out simplified Chinese language version. Huobi ceases trading in derivatives for Chinese users, and like 20 more stories. As you can see, the China crackdown has been a big, big deal. And I know China FUD comes up every bull run. It seems we get a good dose of China FUD. But this is the most serious crackdown on crypto that China has ever done in its history. All the laws that they did previously, all the crackdowns they did previously have been, serious enough. China basically ended the bull run of 2013 when they passed a bunch of Bitcoin bans at the end of 2013, start of 2014. In 2017, we had a lot of China ban FUD, but the market absorbed it. We just pumped higher after that. We saw more China FUD in 2018, more China FUD in 2019, more China FUD in 2020. But in 2021, the Chinese authorities woke up and said, hey, you know what? we need to take this more seriously. We need to actually crack down in a very, very hardcore way. And this is exactly what they've done. Deplatforming, pushing miners out of the country, pushing exchanges to stop serving Chinese customers. And a lot of this, it's not new laws, it's actually applications of previously existing laws. But here's the deal, and I think Travis is great for pointing this out. All of this crazy happened, right? We saw the biggest geographic change for miners in Bitcoin's history, with miners fleeing out of China en masse, moving to Kazakhstan, moving to Texas, moving to other countries. And yet, Bitcoin didn't stop. Bitcoin didn't break. China didn't kill Bitcoin. Bitcoin just kept on Bitcoining. Bitcoin kept on making blocks. The markets actually, it's impressive. This much of a crackdown just happened in the last month. Bitcoin didn't drop 95%. Bitcoin's only down about half, approximately. We've seen some Chinese miners selling Bitcoin, but not all their Bitcoin. They only sold as much as they had to. Yes, some of them had to cash out permanently, but a lot of these guys were selling Bitcoin because they needed cash to fund moving to Texas. And that's exactly what they did. This has been an incredible assault on Bitcoin, and we survived. In fact, we barely broke a sweat. I know the price is down. That happens. Get used to it, deal with it. But the reality is that a nation state just went on a full-on, just massive assault on Bitcoin, and it's just fine. Nothing broke. Everyone's still okay. Yeah, it's been all a bit dramatic, and I feel for regular Chinese investors because their authoritarian government is making it very, very hard for them to access an investment opportunity of a lifetime. But also, I think we need to realize that just in the same way that the Chinese bans didn't work in 2014 or 2017 or any other time they've tried to totally crush the crypto markets domestically, it's not going to work this time either. Every single time China's tried to attack crypto, it's just come back bigger and stronger than ever within China. Right? We're not talking about the international market here. We're just talking about the Chinese investors. They find a way. There's black market dealers, back alley guys, dudes with trench coats. Hey, kid, want to buy some Bitcoin? That stuff happens. There's lots of backstreet dealers. The black market in China is massive for crypto. Has been ever since China started cracking down. This is probably one of China's biggest strategic mistakes, pushing the cryptocurrency industry out of the country, because it is the future of finance on every single level. And they're trying to push it away because they can't control it. And of course, the Chinese Communist Party wants to have complete control over everything, which is why they don't like Bitcoin, because they can't control Bitcoin. It's why they don't like Ethereum. They can't control Ethereum. It's why they don't like Dogecoin. They can't control Dogecoin. No one puts Doge in a box, man. Come on. But it's pretty incredible, actually, that all of this happened. Everything's still okay. So perspective for you here. Perspective. I think it's really important to keep that in mind, that all that crazy can happen, and Bitcoin just keeps on Bitcoining, man. Your question for today. Do you think that Australia is going to approve a Bitcoin ETF before the USA does? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.